Coming up on this edition of the Met Report, fall is in the air, and with the change in the weather came a controversial politician to discuss changes in our political terrain post 9/11.
And we take a look at a new form of exercise that is making its way through Colorado.
And our own Annalisa Blanco and Anthony Costura got up close and personal with the cast of The Bold and the Beautiful in Colorado's backcountry.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Met Report. I'm Benjamin Smith.
And I'm Kelly Matzner. Controversy is one word that is synonymous with this person, Alberto Gonzalez. The former United States Attorney General was on campus this week to address the changing presidency and the controversy surrounding the Patriot Act. Now joining us on desk is reporter Rosario Chavarria to tell us more about her interview with the former Attorney General.
Thanks for joining us, Rosario. It's rather exciting to have a former Attorney General on such a landmark occasion as this, the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
You could really feel the tension as Gonzalez addressed his questions as time as Attorney General. There were protests, people yelling. He was even booed off the stage at the end of his speech. Obviously, it was expected with having such a controversial guest.
Alberto Gonzalez was the first Hispanic Attorney General and the highest-ranking government official in U.S. history. He was here to talk about changing presidency and 9/11. He took a flight that left 50 minutes before terrorists hijacked and crashed the plane into the Pentagon, and it changed his life forever.
And I sometimes wonder whether I crossed paths with any of the hijackers in the terminal that morning, or with any of the innocent 64 passengers and crew who perished at the Pentagon.
I sat down with him for an exclusive interview, and we talked about the controversies at the time when he was Attorney General.
So every Attorney General, when you go back in history, unless they're not doing anything, they're going to be involved in the most controversial decisions. As I talked about in my remarks, it is part of the job. If you're scared of criticism, then you shouldn't be Attorney General.
He also shared his personal thoughts and advice on what Latino students could do to become successful.
You've got to be educated. Education means freedom, particularly in the Hispanic community. Many students today are first generation, and they get little guidance from home, from their parents who didn't go to college. And so it's very, very important to stay with it and get educated.
For the Met Report, Rosario Chavarria Valdez.
Thanks, Rosario. Quite an interesting event surrounding a very controversial person. You can catch Rosario anchoring our Spanish sister show, El Noticiero Metro, on www.metreport.org. Well, while that was going on, inside protesters made their voices heard. Mr. Gonzalez was interrupted many times during his speech with accusations of war crimes, to which the crowd overwhelmingly cheered in approval. Students also pulled masks resembling those used on Guantanamo Bay prison detainees, and they were quickly escorted out. Mr. Gonzalez was a key figure in the creation of the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is a controversial law that suspended constitutional protected civil liberties. In addition, Mr. Gonzalez has protected what the Bush administration calls enhanced interrogation techniques, but is internationally recognized as torture.
Gonzalez was invited to speak on campus and spent $16,000 of our student fees to pay for him to be here at a time when they're raising our tuition and slashing school budgets, not to mention that the man's a war criminal. He was one of the architects behind the torture policies that the Bush administration used and flouted international law and domestic law to engage in illegal behavior. And we don't think that having somebody who engages in criminal behavior and is proud of it truly represents what this university is about and should have been allowed to come here and speak.
It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since the attacks on 9/11 that took the lives of thousands of Americans and forever changed our country. Met Report was out on campus asking students what their thoughts were on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11.
We had the news on, watching it, and we watched the Today Show every morning, and my husband and I watched, and as we were watching the coverage of the first tower getting hit, in comes the second plane and hits the tower. It was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen in my life.
I was in Hawaii, living on an Army base, and I woke up, I think I was in 6th grade.
And turned on the news, and that's when I saw it, and I just thought it was like the end of the world.
Everyone in the house was really quiet, and they were just staring at the TV, and I didn't understand why because I was so little. And all I saw was two buildings falling apart.
It had never happened to American citizens before, and it was incredibly scary to realize that, terrorism was now hitting our country.
Same time, there's definitely fear in a lot of people, I think. And people are afraid of just the world and different people and different cultures in general now. And a lot more so than pre 9/11, I guess.
I think it made America a little more spiritual. It made them more conscientious about their appearance in the other countries and their reputation.
So a lot of people said that it was our own people who attacked us, and a lot of people say it wasn't, or that was planned. So it's really hard to say with all the controversy about that, whether we improved or whether it was really just a lie.
Although it has been a decade since this tragedy, our hearts here at the Met Report continue to go out to the families affected by this significant event and the men and women of our armed forces as they continue to protect our great nation.
On another note, we now turn to Metro's Government Assembly and their informative new program. The Metro State Runners are a group of student volunteers who work to inform the student body of events and issues on campus. Runners are given 2 minutes at the beginning of each class to inform their fellow students of these events and issues. They even collect student input bi-weekly surveys. In return for their service, runners receive free Metro State apparel, gift cards, parking passes, and other rewards. To join the runners, an application must be filled out and turned into the Student Government Office in Tivoli Room 307 during normal business hours. Once accepted, the new runner must attend an orientation in person or online. Then after obtaining a tracking card and other information, you're ready to run. Borrowing the idea from SGA, we are here to inform you that Metro State will be sending thank you letters to the troops. Students will be able to write to the soldiers about stories in their life that empowered them, to say thanks, or to simply write messages of support and gratitude. Please visit the SGA webpage or come to Tivoli Room 307 for more details. I think that the SGA does a really good job of informing students about what's going on campus.
They definitely do, and it's just better to get an email, or better to hear from your classmates than just to receive another email. Coming up next, we talk about a unique sport that requires only one piece of equipment, the human body.
And we also touch on President Obama's speech about his new job plan, so don't go away.
Believe in yourself, realize that anything is possible, keep your eyes on the prize.
When you're at your weakest point, grace can rise up and pull you out.
So I felt like I was filling a void.
Even when I'm faced with difficult situations, I can always find something to smile about.
Little simple ways. I mean, there's really lots of things you can plug into.
Welcome back. Last week we showed a clip of the challenging yet artistic sport known as free running. Free running is a form of urban acrobatics in which the athletes use urban and rural landscapes as their playing field. Laura Griffith has more on the subject.
I don't know about you, but I definitely can't do that. And this isn't a normal gym. This is a gym for parkour and free running.
Parkour kind of has a utilitarian aspect to it. It kind of has those restrictions kind of put on it, so there's not really any wasted movement. It's very quick, very fluid, and whereas free running is kind of uses a lot of the same movements that that make up parkour or are utilized in parkour, more kind of freestyle influence and just kind of putting them together however you can in a graceful and coordinated manner.
Unlike biking or snowboarding, parkour and free running requires no equipment. Your tool is your body.
Whereas we are these athletes and this is our capability at all times.
Your body and movement is the key in this sport, and here at Apex Movement, they can teach you how.
What we're trying to really do is form kind of a collective of all different movement arts, martial artists, breakdancers, traditional gymnasts. However you move, we want you to move in here, and we want people to learn from each other. It doesn't need to be big, scary, extreme, fast. Just moving your body through space more confidently and efficiently than you did before.
Apex Movement stands for athletics, play, and exercise. You can check out their website, apexmovement.com, to find classes or open gym time. You could also start at any age or training level. You could even start right here on campus. Well, I think I'll start with the stairs. For the Met Report, I'm Laura Griffith.
Thanks, Laura. This weekend, you can enjoy the second largest wine festival in the U.S. on a college campus right here on Metro. This weekend, you can enjoy cuisine provided by 30 of Denver's finest restaurants, in addition to over 600 feature wines. You can also enjoy a concert sponsored by Alice 1059 on Friday night. Tickets are $75 general admission and $250 for VIP. To purchase tickets, go to www.coloradorestaurants.com.
Thankfully, a new transportation trend in Denver will also provide a good way to work off some of the calories picked up at the Food and Wine Classic. When traffic starts to drive you crazy and the bus doesn't seem to be a good choice, why not hop on a bike? Just look for the sign with the big B on it. The program is called B-Cycle, and it's Denver's new green mode of transportation. With a little over 500 bicycles, residents can pick up a bike for a small fee, use it for the daily commute, and drop it off at any of the 51 stations located throughout the metro area. This bike sharing program was first implemented for a test run during the Democratic National Convention in 2008 and then permanently set in place in April of 2010. These 3-speed bikes are complete with large baskets, adjustable seats, and even an onboard computer that measures mileage, calories burned, and carbon emissions avoided. So next time you're in the long line of cars waiting for the light to turn, just grab a B-Cycle and take advantage of an affordable and alternative mode of transportation.
Last night, President Obama shocked many when he unveiled a $450 billion job plan. The plan intends to boost jobs and put cash in the pockets of Americans. The newest and boldest element of Obama's plans would slash the Social Security payroll tax, both for tens of millions of workers and for employers. In addition to other tax credits, he proposed a tax credit for businesses that hire people out of work for 6 months or longer, plus other tax reliefs. The president said deepening the payroll tax cut would save an average family making $50,000 a year about $1,500 compared to what they would if Congress did not extend the current tax cut. We're all looking forward to see how these plans play out in Washington. Coming up next, we join reporter Leanna Duarte as she takes us inside the world of everything entertainment.
And will the Rockies make it to Rocktober? Paula Ruelas will tell you in just a bit. Stay tuned.